If p is a prime number greater than 2, what is the value of p? So let's quickly start solving this question. We already know about p, that it's a prime number greater than 2, and we have to find out the value of p. So we have to find the unique value of p to answer this question. Let's start with the first statement, which says that there are a total of 100 prime numbers between 1 and p plus 1. Now, this is the first statement which seems quite complex for many students to understand. So, whenever we come across a question like this in which the number is substantially big to think about, because we can't think about 100 prime numbers. You understand, there will be too many numbers if you have to go up to 100 prime number. For example, from 1 to 100, there are 25 prime numbers. So if I have to go to 100th prime number, I think we'll have to consider quite a substantial big range. So what we do is, for instance, let's assume that this 100 is actually 3, which means I'm assuming that the first statement is there are a total of 3 prime numbers between 1 and p plus 1. So 3 prime numbers are 2, 3 and 5. So which numbers do they fall in? Between 1 and, we already know that p is a prime number, so p plus 1 should be just the next number of the third prime number. That means it should be 5 plus 1, 6. So you see, if we knew that the number 100 is actually 3, we could have answered the question because the value of p would be actually 5. Similarly, rather than taking it 3, if I had taken it to be, let's say 4, then the 4 prime number will be 2, 3, 5 and 7. That means, going by the same logic, we can see that these 4 prime numbers fall between 1 and the last number has to be 7 plus 1, 8. Because p is a prime number, so p plus 1 will be the next number of the prime number. That means, if this 100 was 4, then we could have found that the value of p would have been 7. Likewise, when we read this statement, there are a total of 100 prime numbers between 1 and p plus 1. So this only means that p has to be 100th prime number. Now the question is not about finding out the value of that prime number. The question is only about judging whether the given information of the question is sufficient to find out the unique value or not. And we already know that there will be a unique value of 100th prime number. If given a chance, I think we can write it in some time what will be the 100th prime number, but we don't have to do that. We only had to analyze whether the first statement leads us to the unique answer of the question or not, and it is leading us to the unique answer, and therefore we have to say that the first statement alone is sufficient to answer the question. Having said that, we can straight away eliminate 3 options, which are A, B, C and E. We are left with only 2 choices, and the 2 choices are A and D. That means either each alone is sufficient to answer the question or first alone is sufficient to answer the question. I hope you have now understood that whenever we come across a situation in which the number is substantially big, you should just assume that number to be slightly smaller and then figure out what would the meaning of the same statement be if the number was slightly smaller. Now let's look at the second statement, which says that there are a total of p prime numbers between 1 and 3912. So between 1 and 3912 there will be a fixed number of prime numbers. That means finally we will have the unique value of p, and that's what we wanted to assess, whether this statement leads us to the unique value of p or not. And then we are sure that between 1 and 3912 there will be a fixed number of prime numbers which we can find out, and that will be the value of p. Therefore the second statement alone also is sufficient to answer the question. Hence, answer of the question becomes option D, which means each statement alone is sufficient to answer the question. Thank you so much for watching this video.